like to let people know I'm starting to record, just, you know, that way people are just like knowing that they're on recording now.
Yeah, I got one of those things that pull things that they had said to get.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
You talking about the, like one of these, like the flexies?
Yeah, I got one of
yeah. Okay, cool.
I've had it. I had her on it when I'd go out and walk or something and try to, otherwise she's loose. You know, she's got the whole thing of the...
Oh, and that one's so little right there. What up, buddy? How are you?
See, this one here, Shadow's always picking on that one. And that little one doesn't like her.
Yeah, so actually on our go home session, when I come out here again, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that like she's interacting with all the dogs well. So if there's any kind of like weird behavior she has with them, we're going to get that worked out. Today, this session, I'm going to show off a little bit of what Shadow is doing. Most of this, though, is more information for you.
Right here, you're bleeding. That's all right. I'm good. I'm vexed. Yeah, I expected that. I did.
She had some skin cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And it was about third or fourth times.
Wow.
Different things. So it's just one of those.
Yeah.
They call it cancer, but it's not the inwards kind that you get. Hers is just not.
Okay.
Hey, good girl.
Well, at least it's not like so worse. It's like deep and like, you know, causing like, you know, at least it's not terminal. That's always a plus, right? Yeah.
You know, I take care of her, so she's
yeah.
because her skin is so thin. She's a bleeder.
Okay. Well, it's good that you're here for this then, because obviously I'm sure you'll probably be doing some things with Shadow. So the first thing I'm going to say is when, like I kind of touched on it a minute ago, when the dogs come home for about a week, they're like acting up a fool, you know what I'm saying? So they'll come home. You gotta be really strict with the commands, which of course we're going to go over like more the knowledge today and like the theory of like everything on how to communicate with the dog. And then on our second session, I'll have you guys do things with her. The biggest thing right now is just with dogs, you have to generalize things. So I talk about that all the time. So we go out to a lot of different places with the dogs. So for the first week or two, which is what Shadow's been doing, we have a trainer. You've been watching the videos.
Yes.
There's a girl that, okay.
Yeah.
So for the first about week or two, it's all inside. And the last 2 weeks, which is what I'm with her now, we go out to parks, we go out to stores. If I'm feeling adventurous, I'll take them out to like downtown Raleigh. And that's how I get. And so we generalize it to a bunch of different places. You got to generalize to the house too. So when Shadow comes home, her kind of where her brain is at is like, okay, I'm home. Do I need to follow the rules, or like can I still do the same stuff I was doing before here, but have to listen when I go out?
Yeah.
Just move that cushion.
Oh, okay. Well, I did drive like an hour and a half to get here, so my legs, I'm getting to stretch them too.
That's
Yeah.
fine, but I don't want you to think. I mean, we have a couch.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, I don't know whose silly idea it was to make me 6 feet, but have like 4 feet of maybe legs. So when my legs hurt, about 3/4 of my body hurts. So.
Well.
Yeah. Whoever's.
Maybe you have a little bit of arthritis. It sounds like in your system.
Yeah. I do have arthritis in my wrists because I played piano like 6 hours a day when I was a kid. I still play, but as like when I was younger, I didn't do as like correct like technique, and so like my wrist would like lean down this way, and so if it rains, I'll actually get just like a teeny bit of soreness in the wrist. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I relate with 65-year-old women the most. No.
Well, I'm 83. She's
okay.
79.
I would not have guessed that. Yeah.
And I'm her caregiver. I'm her sister, but I'm her caregiver.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's sweet.
It works.
Yeah. Well, you both get to keep each other company too. So yeah.
Gives me company.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
So yeah, so you can see though, even with Shadow, she is a lot calmer already.
Yeah.
She's not like going crazy. When I met her, I was like, whoa.
She was always jumping up.
Yeah.
When you sat down, she wouldn't.
Or you want the shepherd spin? Yeah. She didn't do it as much.
Well, she used to jump up, put her nose up on my elbow, and I'd have to pat her and give her lovin's. That's what she wanted from me. And
You sleepy?
she wouldn't stay laying down.
Yeah.
She would jump.
Mhm. that's.
Jump on my grandbabies or great grandbabies when they come.
Well, she's what, like 8 months old? Yeah.
She's 8 or 9 now, Kippy.
No, she's 9.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that when you have a 9-month-old German Shepherd, they tend to be a little active.
Well,
So
they're
what?
still babies.
Right. So what I do is I don't try to like. I don't want to repress any dog, right? And like then they like feel like they can't. It's more of a just thing of like I teach you like you can have all this energy. You just got to learn to funnel it out in a healthier way. So part of a thing with a dog like her is she does need exercise, right? So if you keep her like cooped up all day, she's gonna get more, she's gonna get more wild.
Yeah, that's the
Whereas,
reason why she's loose.
Yeah.
The whole acre back.
Right.
Run in,
did she ever try to run out of the property or anything, or she stayed around?
She stayed.
Yeah, I'm not.
She did it
I'm not
first
surprised.
when
Yeah.
I first got her, okay, because we had put the fence up back here, and the only thing that's open back here is the driveway. The rest is all fenced in. And she went out, and she came back in, and I scolded her, and I smacked her on the butt, and I says, no more. And the next time, she would always follow the girls over next door here. She'd always go out and want to go out with them. And she listened. She'd come back right to me.
Okay.
So I had no problem with that then.
Okay, I was asking mainly just I was gonna have to figure out if I was gonna have to kind of like on our last session make sure like if that was the issue before of her like running out of the yard and just like okay cool.
No, she won't.
She knows her boundaries.
Well, and she's a shepherd, so like I'm sure she kind of treats it as like this is her area. Does she have like moments where she just walks around and kind of patrols almost? Yeah. Yeah, my friend has a dog that's a shepherd husky, it's a husky Malinois, Belgian Malinois, which they're very similar to shepherds, and like his dog, she's fun, but then like she has I think like an hour or two a day where all of a sudden she's like this, and she just walks around the property and just examines everything and makes sure there's nothing going on. Yeah.
Whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you need to do or whatever, just let me know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over a couple things. So I'm gonna make it sounds complex, but we're gonna make it sound really simple because I have no desire to sound like use fancy words and sound like I know more. Like that's not fun at all. So we're gonna go over what's called the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning. It sounds fancy. I'm gonna make it sound easy. I'm gonna go over our markers and commands. And again, with her, I'm not going to make Shadow show off too many commands. There's one thing I'm going to show off, which is our implied stay. I don't know if Christian talks about that with you at all. We have an implied stay. So, okay, we'll get into that in a little bit. Kind of the way it works is you don't have to say stay to your dog. So when you put your dog in a sit, she'll stay there, and until you give her a release marker, she won't get up. So, which, are we still working on that? Yeah, we are, because sometimes we want to get up. There.
She's still a baby and wants loving.
Yeah. Well, and again, she does the thing where like she'll sit if she's really next, like if she gets to be near me. But the second I start walking away, she's like starts like walking in place. Then if I back up just a little more, she's like out of the command because she's like, you're supposed to stay with me. But the goal is like you can put.
She only goes in the pen when we have to leave the house. Otherwise,
she knows what cage means.
Yeah.
You go right running in and get in it. She's used to a cage.
Because if she wasn't, she would just get in.
So she'll have a pretty. So she has a very like she can kind of move around and do what she wants to do. Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 90% of the time she has the run of wherever she wants to be.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Because she's got a lot of energy that she needs to get out. Well, so I'll go over the first part that I was talking about because I try to stay pretty concise and not ramble on and on and on. So.
You write anything down?
So I'm recording everything. Okay. So we'll send it to you. If you have the desire to write everything down, go ahead. Like I'm not gonna like police you and be like put that pencil down right now. If you want to, but.
I don't want to forget anything.
No, I hope you don't. No.
You know.
But. Like, it's easy to forget stuff, so that's why we record everything. Like, number one, it's a legal protection for me and you, right? Just in case if you said something or if I decided to, like, go psycho and go on like, a spree. I'm on recording. And all the info's there. Could you just not put the file released? Thank you. And then the second thing is, anything that we talk about, you can go back and watch it. Should get posted within the next couple of days. We always have a backlog of videos, so if I train on like Monday, then the recording might not go up for a couple of days, just because we have like a backlog of it. So the first part that I'm going to talk about is when I mentioned the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning. I'm not going to make you memorize that. What it is like, if you think of a square, right? Think of like you have a grid. So it's like 4 squares, right? And they make up a grid. So you have like 2 positives on the top and 2 negatives, all right? So you have positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement, and then you have positive punishment and negative punishment. Okay? Positive means you're going to add something. Negative means you're going to take it away. All that means. Reinforcement is when you want to encourage a behavior. Punishment is when you want to discourage a behavior. So it's important to know that, because we have our markers, and what a marker is when you condition something, like you say a word every single time, a dog learns that every single time I hear this word, this consequence happens, right? And people do it too. It's not just dogs. There's a bunch of examples. I use this one from The Office, and it's an episode in The Office where what's his face, Dwight. Every single time he starts his computer, the guy hands Dwight a mint, and the Windows noise goes doo-doo, and the computer starts, and then he gives him a mint as like a social experiment on his friend. And I think they pan to like 2 weeks later, and he boots on the computer and doesn't give him a mint, and it goes doo-doo, and the dude just holds out his hand, and he's like, "Why are you holding out your hand?" And he's like, "I don't know." Right? Because his brain's been conditioned that every single time you hear that word, you get a mint. Yeah. And they like implied like his mouth was like salivating the second the noise went off. And so that's the same idea.
They knew the word treats.
Yeah.
They would get them in late evening.
Right.
And they were happy.
Yeah, so those are when you have a word assigned to a particular like when you condition something to a word, that's a marker. So we have, and I don't want to do it too loud, because then she'll look at me and be like, "I did everything you asked. I didn't do anything wrong." But we have like think like a little kid like touching the stove, and you're like, "Eh," right? That's our reinforcement marker, and then the punishment is like a loud nope. So if she jumps, or like, I don't think she will, right? But if there was a dog that like mauled somebody's face off, that's a nope. I try not to let that happen though. And so if I'm going to reinforce a command, because that's the important part of this, is that I'm talking about how to differentiate between which marker to use at a given point in time.
Do you need her to be inside where her toys and bed is, or what do you need?
No, I don't really need anything from you guys at all. I'm only going to show off like one thing with her. So I tell people the first session is all about you guys. The second session's about her, and the go home session is about both of you. Right, so the first session is more about like you get to see her because you haven't seen her in like 2 weeks. But most of this really is more information for you guys, and I'm prepping for you guys to be ready for her to come home. Instead of me being like, "She's been gone for 4 weeks, I'm going to dump 4 weeks of info on you, and you better remember all of it, or I'll sue."
I said, I think for me, I'm going to have to honey, just throw the pillow down. That doesn't
Okay.
give you any room. Just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shadow.
Hi, darling. Yeah.
Shadow.
She's probably saying, "You got up to go in, I want to go in too." That's probably what she's saying.
What you looking at? You sniffing my camera? Your nose is all up in there. Oh.
Yeah. There's your buddy. Oh.
What's her name?
Noelle.
Noelle?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice to hear, buddy.
Oop. I'm gonna make sure she doesn't knock anything over. Yeah, so the only thing I'm gonna show off is the implied state that I was talking about. Like most of this really is just information for both of you. That way, again, I'm not dumping all the info at once, because that's a lot to remember. Yeah. And part of dog training is like, she's got to do her stuff, but when she comes home, you guys got to know how to operate to operate and like understand how to communicate with her. Because one of the biggest issues with training in general is just not knowing how to communicate with your dog. And so that's what most of this is for. So I'm going to use one example on when you would use reinforcement and one example on when you would use a punisher. That way it's a little like easier instead of just me being like, here's a bunch of theoretical information. See ya. So let's say I put Shadow in a sit, okay? And she's doing it. And I talked about how our implied stay is, which I'll show in a second. But let's say she gets up before I release her. I'm trying to reinforce her position, right, to go back into a sit. So in that case, it is going to be the reinforcement marker. I'm going to go and put her back in the sit. Whereas if she jumps on somebody, I want to be like, this is a bad behavior, don't do that again. So it's going to be a nope. Does that make sense?
Just the word no.
Nope. And then both of those words are followed by the e-collar. So I'll give you like, it's like a chain of events. I might be like, So let's say, I say sit, right? And then maybe she doesn't listen. I go, and then she gets the e-collar. So the e-collar comes last. It's the last thing because e-collar is a really good way to confuse a dog. So you got to make sure that there's a reason she knows why she got it. So I have this example that I use. It's a very violent example, but it's the best one that I can always think of. If I walked up to either one of you and just punched you, like no context, like I was just like, what's up, boom, and just punched you, versus if I was like, hey, can you go like pick this up for me, and you're like, I don't know how to do what I need you to do, I make my own path, I don't care what you do, and I was like, that is a violent reaction, but you would know why you got punched, right? You're like, okay, I got in his face. Again, maybe should I have tried to do some conflict resolution and not tried to solve our little altercation with a punch? Yeah, but you would know why. So that's kind of the example I use, is that if you just hit that e-collar with no context, like she's just doing her thing, you're just like, she'll be like, I don't know what I did, I don't know what's wrong, I'm freaking out. And then she can lock up or get confused, and then once she's confused, it makes communicating with her and getting her to do commands 10 times trickier, right? It's almost, I mean, it's like with us people, if we have to go and communicate with somebody who doesn't speak our language and all we can do is understand them through like body language, but culturally their body language is different than ours, you're not going to have a fun time trying to understand what they're telling you. You might get some of it, but there's going to be a lot of stuff where you're like, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I do talk a little fast, so if I need to slow down, you let me know. I try not to, but my brain just sometimes runs too fast.
Okay.
She's an early learner. She's an easy learner, isn't she?
Yeah, she's smart. She's really smart.
Yeah. I say she.
Like,
I know to pick that up.
Yeah, her big thing, honestly, is impulse control. Just like being like chill out, like just getting her to chill out. But there's a certain type of chilling out that I want, that is not like this, where you're like sit and then all you hear is like, there's like all this whining.
Oh, she
That's
didn't do that.
right. Like I don't want that. She'll whine a little bit if I put her in a sit for a long time because she's like getting frustrated and tired of waiting. I don't want that. I want an actual reaction of like, I'm gonna just chill out and calm down until you release me, as opposed to like, I'm gonna throw a fit and whine the whole time.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's kind of like I specialize with nervous dogs too, and so anytime I put a nervous dog in a command, there's things I look for. So if you're a overexcited dog, there's certain things I'm looking for, and if you're a nervous dog and you do this while you're in a sit, you're like sitting, the dog's just like this the whole time staring at you. I wait for that to stop because that's an anxious stare, and if I reward that behavior, you might not know, like you just see the stare and you say okay, and you're like whatever. But if you know what you're looking for, that nervous stare, you're rewarding nervous behavior. Whereas if you make them stay in that command until all of a sudden they're like, I guess he's not going to save me, and then I'm going to go chill, and then I reward you, I'm rewarding your behavior of getting rid of the nervous behavior. So she's not like a nervous dog or shy, right? I mean, she likes people. I don't really think, she's not really scared of other dogs. She'll bark at them, but she'll
bark at them.
Yeah, so that's one thing we're working on that I'll touch on in a second here, but that's what currently I'm doing, is the impulse control stuff. As far as the reactivity goes, I don't just bark and e-collar, right? What I do is, that's kind of how, if you e-collar when the dog gets reactive, there's like two risks involved. number one, if you don't use a word and they bark, the dog can think that the other dog caused the e-collar stimulation. So then they get like even more ramped up and they're like going crazy and like, fine, I'm gonna get you, because they don't know you're hitting the button. Second thing is, you could say a marker, and now they know it's coming from you, but you teach their brain to be scared of all the other dogs, and now you've essentially created a averse nervous reaction to just any other dog. So what I do is we use it's a let's go. So she might actually, are you sleeping, bro? Okay. Well, will you do something for me just for a second? I know you're with mom, but can you just do this one thing for me? Come on. Yeah. Shadow, let's go. All right, so I just kind of have her moving in my direction. And that's different from, oh, hello. You got to come back in, bro. So let's go is when we move this direction versus a recall, which I'm still working with her on. It's going to be kind of tight in here to do something like that. But with the recall, I say, Shadow, come. And then she comes up to me and she plops and she sits right down in front of me. Whereas a let's go is like we're just moving in this direction, right? Yeah. So what I do is whenever she sees a dog, I say, let's go. And if she doesn't listen, then I e-collar. But the difference is what's happening in her brain is not, I saw a dog and got e-collar. It was, I saw a dog, he said, let's go. I didn't listen, so I'm getting punished. You good, bro? You're like a whole person. And it's, no, mouthies. I didn't listen to the let's go, and so I got e-collared for disobedience, not, oh my gosh, dogs are scary, right? Shadow. Hey, stop it.
They talk.
Do they? Yeah.
It's like that's Sissy, and
so
one's older, so she wants to ignore.
Oh, I'm sure they're besties.
This one gives her kisses.
Yeah. No, I just want to make sure she doesn't knock over anything on the table or anything like that.
Yeah, that tells with it.
So what happens is if I use a let's go on every single time we see a dog, what she learns is like, oh, every time I see this dog, I have to do a let's go command. And so you condition it to when she sees a dog, that's her cue. And so what that does is if I like point at her, like, go play with this dog, she's like, oh, okay, cool. But if we're on a walk, she won't run up to dogs, she won't bark at them, because she's like, I just gotta let's go. And you don't create any negative association with the dog. You just create a conditioned response to where a command is essentially triggered each time. And it's way more healthy. You don't create any nervous behavior. You just have to know to use the let's go instead of just automatically punishing, or else you can screw it up. Isn't that right, Shadow?
Let's go is like,
yeah, so let's go, you can
Get up and move.
yeah. So like maybe you're on a walk and all of a sudden she's like fixated on sniffing something, let's go, right? Kind of like we're just moving in this direction. You don't have to say let's go every single time you see a dog when she comes home and she's been home for weeks. But it's more of a thing that I do a lot of it because I'm training her to do it. When she comes home, you're going to have to do it for like a week tops, because you have to show her this is how we do it here too. Mm-hmm. She'll have all the knowledge, but she's going to be like, how much of a punk are his mom, and how, like, you know, how much stuff is she going to make me do versus how much can I get away with? It reminds me of like when I used to come home from like my grandma's house and I just got to do what I wanted to do all day. And then I'd come home and I'd be like, how much can I get away with just like doing stuff here? And then mom would be like, no, you got school. This is not how things go around here. And I might have been wild for a couple days, you know, as a little kid, but she made sure to let me know that the rules are, this is how it is here.
Yeah, it's always different at grandma's.
Yeah, of course. Especially if you're my great grandma, you had a bunch of chocolate and wine. So no.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, did you reward with any treats or anything? Is there?
So I will use treats, but I only very for specific things. I don't use treats normally. There's a reason for that. You can use treats if you want. The reason I do it is that what you can accidentally do, especially in the training phase, is when you do use a treat, the dog can become dependent on it. And so you might go, well, let's say you're one of those people that's like, I don't mind having a treat on me all the time. So like, what's the issue? The issue is that I heard somebody say this once, and I use it all the time now because I was like, oh my God, that's so good, is your reward for them listening has to be greater than their reward for not listening.
Okay.
Right?
Makes perfect sense.
Right? So they love the treat. But if all of a sudden they're like, I like treats, but I really love sniffing this dog's booty at the park, they gonna run up to that booty, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden the treat, they like it, but it's not, the reward's not great enough. So when I use a combination of like, my reward a lot of times is like, especially with a dog like her, go run around and sniff. And so when I teach these commands, if she doesn't listen, all of a sudden I hold the leash and she realizes like, oh, I'm stuck here, I can't go anywhere until like I do what he wants. She sits down, I say okay, and then I'm like, all right, go sniff stuff. I give her like all the lovies and stuff because she loves that. And when I'm teaching her a down, I may or may not use a treat in the beginning because sometimes dogs will fight that. It's, you know, when the paws on the ground, the legs on the ground. Sometimes if I just pull down and kind of snap here, they'll do it. But if they give me any kind of resistance, I'll use a treat.
She's smart, so I...
Well, it's not the smart part that scares me. It's that she might be smart enough to figure out how to not listen. Actually, no, really, that's the big thing with like shepherds and huskies is that they're not more like... Most of them aren't more stubborn than your average dog. I was talking to Christian about this a couple of days ago. It's that they're smart enough to troubleshoot how to not listen. That's the problem. So with a dog like her, I have to be out there for a while and like show her like, you could try all this stuff, but it's not gonna work, bro. Like we could have been done like 10 minutes ago if you just did the sit. Yeah.
A lot of learning.
Lots of learning, yeah. But she's got lots of energy, so I will use toys sometimes. So I may like experiment with like the tug with her, see if she goes crazy for the tug or not.
She likes that.
But I also try to train the dogs in a way where I know that it'll work with a person's lifestyle, right? So for instance, if I trained her in a way where you could maintain her training, but it was a very sport kind of thing, where like I made it where like you got to go out there for 30 minutes and like athletically play tug with her, that works for some people, but other people are like, yeah, nah, that's not the life for me. Like if I told her, like, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So in this case, like the sniffing and the rubbing works for everybody. If I know somebody wants like more of like that kind of thing going on, then you can do it, but not everybody aspires to play 45 minutes of aggressive tug with their German Shepherd every single day.
Yeah, I couldn't do
Yeah.
it. She couldn't either.
I didn't want to say anything like that, but I was like, I figured you guys probably wouldn't want to do that.
No.
We have a little frisbee.
She loves it. It makes noise.
These are her favorites.
Oh.
Kippy will take the ball out and throw it for her.
And a ball.
Oh.
Looky.
Those the ears. They're the
Is that
ears.
yours? And if you throw it, she goes and gets it, but she
Okay.
doesn't want to let loose of it
Right.
when she comes back.
Yeah, so what I actually, that's good to know, because what I'll probably do is I'll use like, I'll probably, because we have a bunch of balls like at the place where we train.
She'll
So
even pick up tennis balls.
yeah, so what I might, can I just set that there?
Yeah.
What I'll do though is that it's important to have an out basically with anything. So, oh, she got fixated really fast on that. So what I'll do is like I'll get the dog to release it, and I use the e-collar teacher, and then all you have to do is just go out, and the dog just drops it.
She loves to play ball.
Now I'll show you something with.
And she'll bring it back to me, but